Howdy. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live. Welcome to episode 118. Those triple digits sound pretty cool. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live. I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Welcome to the first Monday in March of 2023. Year's going so fast. So welcome to all of you watching live. Welcome to those of you who are going to be watching it replay a little bit later. I appreciate all of y'all. But before we go any further, SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love the reality fans out there, but especially like the Big Brother reality fans and those of you who join me for Cliff Notes Live every night. Thank you. I do appreciate it. And I'll mention now and get it out of the way. If you haven't already done so, please consider going out, subscribing to my channel. You can hit that little thumbs up, like button, and you can turn on notifications so that you can get updates anytime I drop an episode. Cliff Notes Live. And I'm not doing a whole lot of other stuff. We may talk about that a little bit later. But Big Brother's coming up, Canada and the U.S. I figure we'll talk about both of those a little bit. Not a lot of news going on, but we're almost there. We're almost to Big Brother season. You can tell I'm excited, right? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Before I go any further, before I talk backgrounds or anything else, let me just take a quick look out here at the comments and see who all my friends are out here this evening. Hanging out with me on another Monday night. Marilyn Sutherland. Hey, Marilyn, how are you doing? As Amanda Lowe as well. Michelle Moore. Hey, guys, how are y'all doing? Jake the Horror Movie Geek. Mark Taylor. Brian Hostetler. Kiki. Hey, Kiki. Keith Franken. Ma. Welcome, Ma. I know you'd be out here. Vicky Stone. And let's see who else I've got out there. That may be it for right now. And all of y'all who aren't necessarily out there posting comments, welcome to y'all as well. Why? Oh, and Wyatt. And Wyatt, I wasn't gonna forget you. Welcome. I hope y'all are doing pretty well. Man, I'm kind of excited. It was a nice weekend. I know some places a little cold. Hey, I'm looking at Los Angeles having freezing weather and stuff. Not so much here in Houston. Oh, we'll talk about that. But I got to talk about the important stuff first before we get to reality TV, which is kind of important as well. But I wear a cowboy hat. I'm from Texas, born and raised. So I would be remiss if I didn't point out that today is March 6th, which is the anniversary. It was 1836. So 186 years ago, 187 years ago on this day, the Alamo fell during the Texas fight for independence. 186 soldiers fighting there at the Alamo, defeated by an army of Santa Anna, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. No, we don't even know for certain. A whole lot more folks on that side shooting than people inside the defending. Cost them all their lives. They knew it was going to cost them their lives, but because of the battle, it slowed down Santa Anna's troops enough that just a month later, the Texians, that's what they called it back then, the Texians were able to beat the army from Mexico over here in my neck of the woods here in Houston and gain independence for Texas. So yeah, it's a special day. Obviously, everyone here in Texas and lots of other places, we all remember the Alamo, right? Even Pee Wee Herman remembers the Alamo. Love the Alamo movies. Man, John Wayne, y'all seen that one, right? Back in the 60s, John Wayne financed the whole movie himself so he could play Davy Crockett and do the Alamo. There's a few little legends in there. And nowadays people say some of that may not happen quite the way they said, but they had that one. We had the other one with Billy Bob Thornton in it. And so they had that Alamo. Being Texan, my family, it's been a couple years since I've been to San Antonio with COVID and all that. Go to San Antonio all the time. And you can't go to San Antonio without making a stop. It's still there. Not the whole compound of the Alamo, but the church part, which is what everyone always sees. It's a famous part. So, yes, as Pee Wee Herman said in his movie, I remember the Alamo. Yeah, it is solemn when you go there and visit and you realize the history that took place so long ago and yet has such an impact. So there you go. My little Texian moment it's funny here in Texas. Y'all tell me, do y'all take state history in whatever state you live in? Because here in Texas, I remember in 7th grade, we had to take the history of Texas. They wanted to make sure we knew that first. And only after a year of Texas history, then did we switch over and take the history of the United States. But first priority was the Texas history, and then we moved to the other stuff. Y'all have that as well? Is there a history of North Dakota, a history of Nevada or something? And is it a full year? Or is it just a section in another history? I don't know. I think there's people here in Texas that would be happy just to do 2 years of Texas history and forget all the other stuff. But anyway, so remember the Alamo. And let's, with that being said, move on. I love those movies. I've already got the songs in my head. I'm gonna have to go back and watch them. Maybe that's my task to do here for the next few days before Big Brother Canada starts. Because once we get into the reality TV season again, it's gonna be tough to find enough hours in the day. But there you go. All right, what else is going on today? I got so much random stuff. Did y'all know today, in addition to Alamo, today is also National Chopstick Day? Yeah, that big deal, right? It is for a whole lot of people around the world. I gotta say, I mean, I grew up eating with forks and spoons and all that, but for just pure simplicity, chopsticks. Whoever came up with the idea of let's put two little sticks together and grab stuff, pretty ingenious as compared to something that you got all those little tines and everything else from a fork. I remember the first time growing up, I never even knew how to eat with chopsticks until I was probably in my 20s. Came down to Houston to work, and I remember going to a little Chinese restaurant. The people there taught me how to use chopsticks, and then of course I've traveled all over the world to China and Malaysia and a lot of places where there's people that are very good at using chopsticks. I gotta say, one little story I remember, a couple. Well, maybe I'll tell one. I went to Singapore, and the guy who was picking me up, we were friends, we worked together, but he was from Singapore, and so he picked me up and he said, "Hey, Cliff, I'm going to take you to a dumplings shop that's real, it's authentic, it's not, you're not going to find it on your own, but it's the most amazing dumplings ever." So okay, sure. So he takes me to this place. It's a little restaurant, packed, absolutely crowded. Couldn't find a seat in the place, but he talked and worked some magic and everything. I'm the only non-Chinese person there. I'm the only person that's not speaking in Chinese. And of course, there's no menus or anything in anything except for Chinese. So I had no clue what was going on. But he ordered up dumplings, and they just kept bringing these steamed dumplings in these little bamboo containers all night long, bringing these dumplings over and over and over again. Not a fork or spoon in sight, right? It's all eaten with the chopsticks, which I wouldn't have had any other way. If I'm going to eat there, I want it to be authentic. The best dumplings, the best Chinese food I've ever had in my life. So yeah, I'm glad I learned how to eat chopsticks before I got over there, or it would have been just a little bit embarrassing. All right, let's talk about some other stuff. What's going on? A few little comments, and then we may come back to some other stuff later. Kiki's saying in Iowa, 3rd grade was state history. Okay, so you do it. And then Ma's saying we did Virginia history in elementary school, not high school. We have one of the richest histories of any state. Yeah, Kiki, nothing against Iowa. It's a newer state, right? But yeah, I know Virginia in comparison to Iowa or Texas, either one. Y'all got a lot of folks who've been president. Y'all got a lot of history in that place. The company I work for has some stuff there in Virginia. So what is it? Just a couple of weeks ago, I flew into to Richmond and was over in that neck of the woods. So yeah, I can see how there's no one as braggadocious. There's no one as proud of their state probably as a Texan, but you over there in Virginia, probably right up there with it as well, right? Well, good. All right, I didn't know that. I didn't know if people did state history or not. So see, you learn something new every single day. All right, what's going on? Let me look at this. Keith saying, got 100 on your speech. Well, Keith, congratulations, my friend. I'm happy for you. That's fantastic. I gotta say, when I was growing up, I was such a shy kid. I could not get up and give a speech in front of anyone. That just wasn't who I was. I didn't like doing it. I sat at the back of the room, wouldn't say a word. I was a good student. I just didn't like to speak up or anything. Who would have thought that now, right? Yeah, at some point I finally just said, forget this. I think it's when I was working at Six Flags and I was forced to present myself in front of people. And then I worked at Chuck E. Cheese's and I had to say, welcome to Chuck E. Cheese. So I had jobs that forced me to kind of present myself to other people. And next thing you know, I'm doing the same thing in front of casting people. And next thing you know, I'm on Big Brother. So yeah, congratulations. All that being said, congratulations on your speech. Man, 100's hard to get. So you can be a speechwriter when you grow up. I used to think I'd want to be a speechwriter at some point when I was growing up because I felt like I had a lot of ideas. I just didn't want to be the one saying them. But I thought, man, I could write this stuff over on the side and let someone else say it. And things that, yeah, I decided to become an engineer instead. But that's cool. You obviously have a way with words, so congratulations on that. All right, what else do we have on here? 8 presents from our state, Moss said. Yeah, I knew there were a lot of them. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Mark Taylor saying, looking at preseason players in Big Brother Canada, who do you like? Man, Mark, I gotta say I've been a little remiss. I went out there and I saw the cast list for everyone that's there. I actually went in and added up all their ages and figured out the average age I think is right at 30 years old, 30.8 or something else. So it seemed like a fairly young cast. And I say that only because there's no one in their 50s on Big Brother Canada. It seems like, well, we had was it Tina? And we've had a few people that were older over the years. But yeah, this season in Big Brother Canada, I think I don't even know what her name is. The oldest contestant is a woman. I think she's 40, if I recall. I'll cheer for her because I'm always going to cheer for the older person, right? Just because I know how hard it is. But I don't know. I saw the cast list. And I just read quick about each of them. I saw some people from Canada saying, "Oh, geographically, there's not as much variance and all that." Maybe I don't catch that as much when I'm looking at it, but I don't know. I haven't seen interviews with them. I haven't seen anything except the most base description. So come Wednesday, I'll just check it out and see who's on there, who strikes my fancy. Which is kind of funny because last season I had some definite favorites. Kevin was great. I knew he'd be interesting. I didn't think he'd go as far as he did, but I knew he'd be good. The older guy who spoke the French and all that. How quickly you forget names. I had some favorites last season. This season, I'm just going in. I'm just going to watch and see. I'm still hearing all this stuff. Well, someone's trying to get a hold of me. Still trying to figure out just what's going to happen without these live feeds. They were saying it was going to be an hour of daily briefings, but then apparently, I guess maybe Ika Wong came out today or yesterday and maybe said there are going to be hours and hours that maybe people have access to. However it works out, when you're not just sitting there actually watching it live while it happens, I'd be just a little bit more suspicious about what you're missing as a result of it. So I don't know. I'm just like everyone else. I'm really disappointed that there's not going to be live feeds, even though I have such a hard time watching them from here in the States. But just knowing they're out there and having other people who can recap them and all of that means a lot. I think the show will, I don't know, we'll see. I think it'll suffer a little bit by not having that 24 or at least a much wider exposure than just an hour a day that we'll see. So I don't know, Mark. I don't know the players yet enough. Ask me next week, and I'm sure I'll have very definite opinions by next week. But I'm just ready for some Big Brother to start. We didn't have Celebrity Big Brother this season, so it seemed to last even. The off season seemed to be even longer than it normally is. So yeah, we got Big Brother Canada. About the time that's wrapping up, we'll have Big Brother US. So all is good in the world. It would start that. Now, before I forget about it, I mean, Big Brother Canada starting. So that's the biggest news, I suppose. Big Brother US a little bit further down the road, but casting is going on. So if you have not sent in your videos yet, I was gonna say your videotapes, but that's a thing of the past. If you haven't sent in your videos yet, do it. Why do you have to lose? Do it as a lark. I do it for no other reason than to make these people watch another 3 minutes of someone talking to them, just to have fun with it. Be silly if you want to. Just do it. Push yourself just a little bit, just because it's fun to do. Now I do know if you happen to live in the LA area. Now there may be a few of you out there. Most of us are a long way away from LA, but if you live in the LA area, next Saturday, I think they are having a casting call somewhere there in Hollywood, West Hollywood, somewhere in that part of the town. They're having an open casting call, which I think is the first open casting call they've had since COVID and all of that. So I think there's something special about showing up in person and getting to talk to the casting people, as opposed to just sending in a quick little video. of yourself. And now some people do great on the videos and they'll stand out and they'll look great. Obviously, people get cast from the videos, but I also think there's people who do better in person where you can react to other people and respond and be quick on your game and all that. And that's what I did. And I always feel like if I just send in a video, maybe, I mean, who knows? But I think it worked much better for me because I like to interact with other people. I like to respond and well, that's what I would have done and have the conversations which you get to do very quickly, but you get to do as part of a casting call. So if you're in the LA area, do it. Now I reached out to the casting folks and said, hey, just in case you're going to do any casting here in the Southwest United States, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, let me know because I'm going to come hang out with all of the Big Brother 25 possible castmates and encourage them and motivate them and everything else. And they came back to me. Alex with the casting came back and said, yeah, we don't know yet, but hopefully we get some more. Just don't know. I hope so. It'd be so much fun hanging around with a bunch of other people trying out for the show and just see who's going to do and see maybe someone I see in line and ends up getting on the show. That'd be really cool. Or one of y'all out here, how I feel about that. But yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about it. I guess it's been a little bit more than 3 years, 4 years, because it was February 23rd when I showed up at the casting call here in Houston for Big Brother and just did it as a lark. And later that night, I went to a barbecue cook-off, ate lots of good barbecue, drank a little beer, listened to some good country western music. Not a clue that I just talked to people who were going to somewhat drastically change my life. So you never know how this life is going to, what path life's going to go down. So yeah, just reminiscing. It's hard to believe it's been 4 years. What a crazy 4 years it's been. All right, what else do we have on here? Caroline Jackson saying, I'm from San Antonio. Remember the Alamo. Well, howdy, neighbor. Man, San Antonio, one of my favorite places to visit. I grew up in Dallas-Fort Worth area. I live in Houston. I love those cities. They're both, the Metroplex and down here is great. But Austin and San Antonio are just, they're so different from one another. San Antonio, every time we go there, they've got a SeaWorld, they've got Fiesta, Texas. So there's, theme park kind of stuff to do. But the history in San Antonio, the food in San Antonio is amazing. I've had so many fantastic meals down there. So, well, welcome aboard, Caroline. I'm glad to have you on board, and a big old howdy neighbor to you. And yeah, that's cool. I love San Antonio. Vicky saying, thought you put yourself through college being a Chippendale dancer. Yeah, it would have been I would have had to work long hours to pay for it. Now, college was a lot cheaper back in the 80s when I was in school. But yeah, I think Chippendale dancer, pizza delivery, I chose the right path, driving a bicycle around and delivering pizzas. Now, I can probably wear a mean bow tie, but as far as the rip-off clothes and everything else, I don't know. It's a probably good choice that I didn't. It's funny when I tried out for Big Brother, they ask 1,001 questions, right? And part of the things that I was asked at one point in the application process, I think it was just by email, was, is there anything embarrassing out there on social media or anywhere else, anything that's going to pop up that may create issues if you were to become more well known by being on the show? Just, we want to know now as opposed to later. Is there anything we need to be aware of? And so I remember I responded back and said, it's me. No, nothing like that. I said, no nude photos or anything like that posted online. I said, but if that helps me get on the show by posting some, just let me know. They came back and said, yeah, I think we're good. So they check all that stuff. Theoretically, they check all that stuff when you're trying out for Big Brother. But Chippendale dancers in the path this particular life decided to go down. I only do my Chippendale dancing for one person, and I've been married to her for 33 years. So there you go. All right, Mark saying, I do a lot of dancing for her, but Mark said, how do you rate Survivor? Who are your early favorites? Oh man, did y'all watch Survivor, the first episode? Ma says he likes Carson so far. Yeah, I'm all into Carson. Man, Mark, I love. If y'all aren't watching it, the first episode of Survivor was last Wednesday. What an episode! Oh my gosh, we had someone evacuate for medical reasons. We had other people that had medical issues. It's funny. The doctor on Survivor is named Dr. Will, not the Dr. Will, another Dr. Will. But yeah, it was amazing. And I'm not going to give out spoilers because it is early enough. And just in case any of y'all have not seen it, go out there and find it. It's really, really good. But we had the medical evacs. We had a crazy tribal council with all kinds of things being played and people not casting votes and amazing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this season. Oh, I think there's some great people in there. As far as who I'm cheering for, I went in saying that I was going to cheer for Carson because he's a rocket scientist, right? I mean, I think he's Georgia Tech, but he's done work here at NASA. He's got connections to the space industry. I'm all about NASA and space, so I'm definitely cheering for Carson. But he also just seems like a really fun guy. He reminds me of a few other players we've had in past seasons that were very smart, maybe not athletically the most incredible, beast like we've seen with some of these guys, but that's all right. I like that. I've been cheering for Carson because of the space industry. The other person I've been cheering for is Lauren, because Lauren is based in or lives in Beaumont, Port Arthur, which is just down the road from us, a couple hours from here. But she's from Texas. She's a school teacher. My parents were both school teachers, so I have a special things for a special loyalty or special cheering on for teachers. Certainly, being from Texas, I'm gonna be cheering her on. And she had some things happen last week that makes it seem like she's going to be a player. Now, here's what else is cool, and this just happened today. If any of y'all live in the Dallas, any of y'all live in the Houston area, or even San Antonio, I just saw that they're organizing March 29th here in Houston, a Survivor watch party for Lauren. Because she is, this is the closest big city to her. Not that Beaumont, Port Arthur aren't big, but big. So she's going to come over here to Houston, and we're all going to go support her. The reality TV people are here. I think Karishma from Survivor's setting it up. I think Carl Boudreaux may be there. I'm going to be there. Who knows who else? Little text messaging. There's people who said they're going to be there. I don't even recognize some of the numbers. So I don't know who's going to show up. But yeah, March 29th, we're going to have a big viewing party. I'm really hoping the fact that is, 23 days or so. So 3 weeks from now, that we're going to be doing that. The fact that Lauren's going to be there and watching, I would think if you already been voted out, you wouldn't be so eager to be doing watch parties when you're not actually part of the show anymore. So I'm hoping that means we've got at least another 3 weeks or so with Lauren. I don't know. I certainly don't have any scoop whatsoever. Unlike some people on here who've got little scoops on The Voice and things like that. But no, it's going to be fun. So I'm cheering on Lauren and I'm cheering on Carson. But y'all know who else there's a couple of people. Y'all know who I kind of like it. Yam Yam, I think that's his name. He's just Yam Yam treats Survivor the way I wanted to treat my experience on Big Brother. Saying, I'm going to give it everything I got, but I'm going to have fun while I'm out here, and I'm going to enjoy every bit of the experience while I play the game. And I feel like that's what Yam Yam did, just his little introduction. He's going to support everyone, their family, and all. Jeff Pro said, y'all only know each other 3 minutes. You're already family. He said, I'll hold someone up while they're throwing up and up. He's just all into the game. He's all about the relationships, but he's all into the experience. So, yeah, I'm liking some Yam Yam. I'm liking Matthew, even though he almost got injured. He's got some stuff that's going to affect him. I guess it's not too much of a spoiler because we saw it way back at the trailers for at the end of last season. He fell off a rock and had some injuries that we'll see if it affects him going forward. But now I had a fantastic time watching the episode. Now, here's the thing. Some of you may know, some of you may have noticed, I've done recaps of Survivor for the last couple of seasons. I'm not doing it this season just because I felt like there's too much going on. So, yeah, Ma's asking, as my Survivor recap out? Yeah, I just there's too much going on. I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to give it the attention that I needed to, uh, and really, I just had to take a little bit of a break from doing those shows. I love watching the show, and I'm gonna watch it no matter what. But it was kind of fun watching it last Wednesday and not having to stop and take notes throughout the whole show in preparation for doing a recap. So unfortunately, I'm not going to recap this season, even though I think it's going to be a fantastic season. Uh, but yeah, I'll pick stuff back up again. I just need to take a little bit of a break with Big Brother and everything else going to work and all that. Life gets in the way. But I figure because of that, maybe we'll talk about it just a little bit more out here on Mondays as well. Maybe that I'll make up for it with that, right? But no, I love that first season, first episode of Survivor. It was top notch. I just love that show. I love Big Brother, but I love Survivor as well. All right, Chuckster's Adventures. What a name, Chuckster. I was on my way to the last casting call in Jacksonville, Florida when it was canceled for COVID. Yeah, wasn't that horrible? I was on my way to New Orleans. They were going to do a casting call there as well. And I'd already talked to Robin Cass was doing the casting at the time. And I'd already said, hey, I'll come hang out in Bourbon Street and drink some Hurricanes and enjoy, meeting all the potential Big Brother folks. That had it all lined up. And yeah, I think Jacksonville, New Orleans were the last couple, and they shut it all down. Hated that. Yeah. But we made it through, right? When we're much older, we're gonna tell stories about those couple of years with COVID and what a crazy year it was. I can't believe I spent a year, did not leave this house. Maybe I left the house, but didn't go into a restaurant, didn't go into a grocery store. I didn't have any contact with anyone other than Sharon for a year. Now, how is that? We had groceries delivered and things like that, but what a crazy couple of years. Yeah, COVID really screwed it up. They screwed up Big Brother Canada. They shut down that season right in the middle of the season. I still feel bad for those people, but we don't have to worry about that anymore. And hopefully we get some more casting calls. Hopefully there's another one in Florida. Hopefully there's another one around here somewhere. I like the energy of a lot of people showing up to try out for those shows. If you sit in your video, you don't see everyone gathered up together. You don't see this mass of thousands of fans of reality TV that are all getting to hang out together and talk and chat and everything. Here's a little hint for y'all. If there's a casting call, if you show up for a casting call for Big Brother, Survivor, Amazing, whatever, do not show up, get in line, and immediately get on your phone and be doing this the whole time while you're waiting in line, because you never know who's watching, who's paying attention. And you also don't know when it may be important that you know things about the people around you, right? I really, as soon as I got in line, I was trying to be gregarious and chatty with everyone around me, just because I wanted to give off that. Maybe that's just who I am, but there were other people who very much were just on their phone and not doing anything until it was time to talk to the producers, and then they tried to turn it on. For me, it was easy. I'd been sitting there chatting away and talking to people for the last 3 or 4 hours. So by the time I got in there to actually do stuff in front of the casting, everyone knew who I was. I knew who they all were. We knew each other's, a lot of us knew each other's language, mannerisms. So there was a lot of very natural conversations that we could have with each other in front of the producers or in front of the casting people. And that's what they're looking for, is people who can have conversations. So if you ever show up for one of these casting calls, assume that the second you get out of your car, you walk and get in line, the game has started right then and there, because there may be people watching. Yeah, you never know. All right. Wyatt's saying, going to see Aaron Watson on Friday in Arlington. So where are you going in Arlington? Is it that Texas Live that's over by the stadium and everything? And I say that because I haven't been there yet, but I've heard so many incredible things about some of the music venues. And I know Billy Bob's and a lot of stuff at Fort Worth, but I guess they've got some cool stuff in Arlington as well. That's my hometown. So I need to spend a little more time exploring up there for one of these days, and take a little vacation, go up there, back to home and explore around a little bit. Aaron Watson's pretty good. Mark saying, do you have any success sleeping on the plane? I'm going on a 14-hour flight. Man, Mark, I've been on one or two of those. I flew from what was the longest flight I've ever been on? Feel like maybe it was from like Heathrow to I don't know, Singapore somewhere, Malaysia, not Kuala Lumpur, perhaps. It's about 12 hours or so, not quite 4 days. That's a long flight. Uh, yeah, I actually do okay on those planes. As soon as I get on a plane, the first thing I do is I set my watch to whatever the time is of my destination, where I'm going to land. Usually, I'll have a movie or a book or something to read, and I'll do that until they serve us dinner. And I don't drink massive amounts of wine and beer and all of that, but on a plane, if it's a long trip like that, as soon as I get my dinner, I'll usually see if they, if they serve wine or beer, and I'll drink a little bit and try to immediately maybe finish dinner, maybe watch one more movie, and then try to fall asleep. Just because I know I'm going to be lacking by the time I get on the other side of the world. So I do that. I sleep 5, 6, 7 hours, off and on, an hour here, hour there, but at least enough that by the time I wake up, I look at my watch, I'm already thinking about what the time is in the other place. And so I try to pretend like it's that time. So if my clock says 2 in the morning, I try to sleep as best I can. And I don't know, it works, but anytime I travel to China, Malaysia, places like that, it always would take me about 2 days or so to recover from the jet lag. Going was tough. Coming back, I never had any issue. I could come back here and immediately be fine. I don't know why. It's a lot easier traveling west than it is traveling east, I suppose. But yeah, well, good luck. I take a bunch of books with you. Of course, now you can put them all on an iPad or whatever. But a bunch of books and yeah, that's a long time to be on a plane. I always would try to make sure I was on an aisle seat as well, so I could get up, walk around a little bit, because I hate being in a window seat on long flights and having some person who's sound asleep next to me and saying, "Excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom again." When I drink enough beers, you gotta go again and again. So I'd always try to get an aisle seat, so that way I could at least get up and work my legs every once in a while. Because I'm kind of tall, my legs get all stuffed up underneath those seats pretty quick, and so it pays. Yeah, don't sit in your seat too long. Walk around. Make sure you don't get those blood clots and all that. Have fun. Where are you going? 14 hours, a long trip. It's about as long as they go nowadays, right? Man, that's wild. I've traveled like that. No, my flights nowadays are 2 or 3 hours, which pretty manageable. 1 hour time zone different. I can handle that. Not too bad. All right, Brian Hosta. NBC is doing taping of live reactions of Sorrell at their house tonight. Oh, congratulations. Can you talk about when they taped your family? Yeah, I think I can do that. And for those of you who don't know, Brian told us last week he's got a little inside information on the Sorrells, one of the acts on The Voice, and I'm not going to throw out any spoilers, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, for my family, the way it worked in terms of taping, uh, we we did a couple things when they kidnapped me. Obviously, I was here, and I remember they filmed me. We was fishing, and I found my key, and I really found it. It wasn't fake. I was surprised. Now they did that. They filmed me on an oil rig down in Galveston, and all of that. We came back here. They filmed the little internal shots. I don't think they showed that on the episode. They shoot a lot more than they need. Filmed that with my family a little bit. I remember that they filmed us as we're driving off, and there was something about I yelled as I was going out. I yelled out the window, "This oil man's going to win $500,000,000!" And I guess I wasn't clear in the way I said it. A lot of people thought I didn't say this oil man. They thought I said this old man. And so they say, "Why do you call himself an old man?" No, I said an oil man. But it didn't matter because they didn't end up using that part. But anyway, that was the first time they taped. The second time they taped was when I won the battle back, and then I won the HOH later that evening. At that point, they contacted my family and said, "Hey, your husband just kind of did some pretty good stuff in the house. He saved himself. He's back in the game. He won HOH." And they said, "With that in mind, could we maybe come and film y'all at that point and talk to y'all a little bit?" And so they said, "Sure." And I think they said something like, all right, well, they'll be here tomorrow. I mean, it was pretty quick. And of course, I didn't know. I'm in the house. I don't have a clue. They didn't tell me any of that. They did. No one said anything that I remember about, hey, just so you know, we're filming stuff with your family today. It would have been cool to know, but they aren't going to do that. But they came, they set up lights and everywhere. They filmed my family talking about me surviving. I think they filmed some clips of my son saying, yeah, I wish he wouldn't talk so loud, keep his mouth shut, don't be overheard and all that. But they filmed them. They filmed them at that point, and I think they showed that during the season. So that was pretty cool. And then the final time they filmed a family video of everyone, and family, hey Cliff, we love you, glad to see you're still in the house or whatever. They filmed that a little bit later in the season, but then they didn't show it. I got booted fourth. If I'd made it to the final three, I guess I would have gotten to see my family, little family videos. But yeah, for some reason, they didn't show the family videos as early in the season as they normally do. They waited until really late. And I think it may be because one person didn't get a video. And I'm not going to say who or anything because I don't know for certain. But I think there's some stuff that caused them not to show us the videos as quickly as normally they do, which broke my heart. I would have done anything to see my family was in there. But yeah, so those are the 3 times that they filmed the deal. And I think the third one, I think my family just filmed. It's not like production people showed up and all that. The second time, after I won all that stuff, they were all here filming away. So yeah, that was cool knowing. Of course, again, I didn't know till later, but after I was out of the house, after the season was over, I got to talk to them. It was cool knowing that my family had those little extra chances to be part of the game, part of the whole experience. They got to do their part as well. So it just gave me a warm fuzzy. I love that. I love that because of things I did, they got a few more experiences also. So man, that was cool. All right. What else do we have on here? Michelle Moore, did you know Molly Hot Pockets every Monday before your show? I may have seen a comment or two about that very thing. I haven't had Hot Pockets in a while, but Lord knows I put down my fair share of them over the years. So, Ma, go to town. Enjoy your Hot Pockets. All right, let's see what Marilyn Sutherland says. Just realized I'll be on an Alaskan cruise during the Big Brother season. I'll be missing it, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I'm excited for it. Yeah, go on your cruise, Marilyn. I love reality TV, right? I mean, it's so much fun. You get so invested in these contestants, but it's not your life. It's just something you're watching on TV while you're sitting on the couch or whatever. You go live your life. You won't regret that time you miss. Well, it is what it is. You can read recaps. You can come out and watch on YouTube when you get a chance and check out the recaps that I'll be giving this season as well. Alaska cruise would be a lot of fun. I've been to Alaska. I've been up to Dead Horse, Alaska in January and February. Cold. Oh God, I've never been in temperatures that cold. Literally. I mean, like 50 below before windshield kind of temperatures, because that's up on the North Slope. But I've also been to Anchorage. Beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful town to be in and exploring. I was there for a little while during the winter time. I drove down and saw some ski areas and some glaciers. Oh, that's cool. So a cruise would be pretty cool. I remember when I went up to Dead Horse, they had a couple of stories right when I first got there. They were telling people to be careful. One, they were saying, if you see any Arctic foxes running through the snow, coming up to give you hugs or whatever, don't touch them. Because I said, they're just like dogs or anything else. We got a lot of them that have been testing positive for rabies. So no matter how cute these Arctic foxes look, if they come to you, leave them alone, get away from them, because otherwise you're going to get a lot of painful shots. So that was the first story. It's like, all right, well, I won't mess with the foxes up here. But the other story that had a lot more impact was that they had a little situation. There's 2 or 3 huge compounds up in Dead Horse where the company people live. And these are like massive fancy hotel kind of things. They have their own dining areas, workout rooms, offices, everything. But there's some people who have to work away from the main facilities for whatever they do, electrical hookups and things like that. And so they also have these little Q huts, little small buildings set up away from everything else in a few different areas. Well, in one of these Q huts, one of the guys who was assigned to fix dinner, there were 4 or 5 guys in this particular building. He was assigned to fix dinner. And while he's fixing dinner, all of a sudden he hears this commotion outside. doesn't know what it is, looks out the kind of the window, and all of a sudden, right in his face is a polar bear. I mean, face right here, looking in the window as this guy is fixing dinner. Guy jumps back. He's a little scared, as you should be. I mean, these things, they're huge, right? And it's right there at the window of the door, but the bear's looking in. The guy, once he kind of recovers from the shock of it, grabs some pots and pans and bang it. Bum, 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 bum. Get out of here, bear. Get out of here. Go away. Go away. The bear takes off running. Problem solved, right? Just scare the bear away. So the guy's all proud of himself. He tells the other guy, say, man, you huge polar bear just showed up. And I scared it away. No worries. Until about 10 minutes later, when the polar bear showed up again, and he sees the bear again poking his head uh, through the little porthole window of the door into the building itself. Guy said, worked first time. I'll try it again. Grabs his pots and pans. Bum, 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 bum. Get out of here, bear. Get out of here. The bear doesn't do anything. Bum, 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 bum. Get out of here, bear. He yells again. Well, the bear decided that he wasn't necessarily so scared of pots and pans at that point in time, because before the guy knows it, one big old paw from this polar bear blows the door in. One shot's all it took. The door comes collapsing down. Here comes this polar bear racing into this room with this guy who's suddenly thinking that banging pots and pans isn't the best idea in the world. He takes off running. Fortunately, there's an island, a kitchen, an island, and a bunch of food between him and the polar bear. He takes off into one of the back bedrooms, closes the door, and locks it. And the bear was not as interested as much in eating this irritating human with the pots and pans. Makes me think of old Josh from Big Brother. Da, 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 da. Yeah, the bear was a little more irritated than Mark was on that season, but the bear was more interested in the food in the kitchen than the human food in the back bedroom. So the bear ate all the food, trashed the whole kitchen. They called it in, and everyone was fine. Everyone was safe. But just as I landed in Dead Horse that particular year, that season, a big bulletin went out and said, if you see bears or other wildlife poking their heads in the windows, do not try to scare them away. Don't irritate them. Move away so they don't see you. They don't see your movement. Call us and just wait. And so that was the new rule. Don't try to scare away polar bears. It may not work the way you think it works. So little story there. Going out on a tangent. And I remember how I started down that path, but whatever. So that's my polar bear story. Yeah, big old animals. All right, Mark's saying, do you still have your cartoon? If so, where is it? And what does your wife think of it? I don't know. I think she likes it. I didn't do it this year. I usually put it out on Groundhog Day because it's, the groundhog. It's what they described. Remember when I saw it, it's like, all right, you kind of mailed. I kind of thought they mailed it. And I thought they could have done more with, I don't know, Boss Hog. There's a new sheriff in town or something. Instead, just having a little groundhog that's chasing criminals. They'll run when they see their shadow, or they see a shadow. I don't remember what it was, but yes, I do have it. I need to just build a little memento room or something with all my stuff, and have it up there, a shadow box or something like that. It makes it sound like I'm a build an altar or something. But now I need to just put a shadow box with some of my cool stuff, my key, my Vito chip, my BB Comics outfit, my comic, all those things. That'd be cool. But no, I've got it. It's just kind of put up in storage right now. But yeah, I think she likes it. Now, remember, when you do BB Comics, there were two of them. There's the one that was the real one. I guess there's three of them, actually. There's the real one that we saw posted that we flew by on a zip line. And then there's two that you have to pick between when you're actually doing the contest itself. And I don't know what happened to the other authentic one. I've got one. Something happened to the authentic one. I think they kept it or sold it to charity or something like that. But then the other one that was the one that I think didn't have the whiskers was the "Can you tell the difference?" picture or whatever. That one I actually sold for charity for Give Kids a World. They sold it on my behalf, and so I'm not sure who has that one. Whoever it is, if they happen to see this, contact me. I'll come sign it or pose with it or something. But yeah, but I've got one of them. It's one of my most treasured kind of mementos from that season. Probably that and my BB Comics outfit are two of my favorites. But I've got like a coffee mug that I drank while I was in the house. I've got the blanket that I used to always have in the boat room that was my favorite wool blanket. Oh, such a great blanket. So yeah, I got a few things. Comic, but now it's not like hung up over the fireplace so people have to look at it every time they walk in the house. Nothing like that. Sheridan probably would not want that, right? But yeah, I still got it. Honestly, Vicky saying a friend lived in Alaska and said mooses would get in the trash. I believe it. There's a bunch of them up there. I saw one or two on the side of the road when I was up there, and they're big. they're. I, yeah, there's a Tom Green who was on Celebrity Big Brother. I watched Tom Green way before he's on Celebrity Big Brother. He's from Canada, and he used to have a hilarious comedy show on MTV. Not always so appropriate. It was pushing the envelope a lot. It's a little bit like Impractical Jokers before Impractical Jokers, but I know there was something like a moose on the side of the road that a car had hit or something. I would hate to hit a moose with a car. There's a lot of mass behind those things. So yeah, there's a whole different kind of wildlife up in that part of the world that you got to watch out for. What seals and polar bears and moose and lots of bald eagles and things like that. Pretty place. God, it's so cold up there though. I'm in Texas, boy. I just can't handle that stuff. All right, let's see what else we got. Wow, 7:50 already. It goes so fast. Yeah, I didn't even mention spring break for those of you who are in school or who may have family that's in school, teachers out there, students or loved ones. It's basically spring break, right? Or at least down here in Texas is. For y'all, is it now, or do y'all have to wait a few more weeks before everyone starts getting out of school? I know down here, some colleges let out this week, more let out the next week. I think not this week, like today for the next 5 days. I think it's a week from today is when all the biggest schools in Texas have their spring break, and everyone's going to be out running around doing whatever you do on spring break. I know one year I had a friend who had a little cabin over in Colorado, and so we all went up there and went skiing for a couple of days, and that was cool. But what I remember most about spring break was going to Padre Island, which is a big seashore down in the south part of Texas. It's 10 hours from Houston area. So even though we don't live up in the very northern part of the state, it's still 10 hours to get from here down to South Texas where Padre Island is. But everyone would show up. It's where I met Sharon. So yeah, I'm glad I went down there, but it's great because you go to Padre Island, you'd hang out on the beach and just do whatever you do on the beach when you're surrounded by 100,000 other people. A bunch of running around and listening to concerts and all kinds of stuff. But you do that. But it also is only about 30 minutes or so from the border with Mexico. Matamoros was a town across the border from where we were. We used to go over there, God, and do so much. Just go hang out and go eat all kinds of restaurants. Buy a few beers here and there, and just act goofy while we were there. Had so much fun doing it. I remember at one point in time, I lost the folks I was with, hanging out with other folks and carded. It was before cell phones, so I had people. I said, "All right, they're all going down to Matamoros tomorrow, so y'all just when you go down there, drop me off." They dropped me off at the border. I just wandered through the main downtown tourist area, walked up and down the streets. It took about 30, 45 minutes before I found my buddies, and I didn't think twice about being in a foreign country by myself, walking up and down without cell phones or anything and finding folks, and not a care in the world. Nowadays, it's a whole different story. They just had a news story that came out this morning. 4 people crossing from the United States, from Texas into Matamoros, apparently got caught between gunfire between 2 rival drug cartels. And last thing they saw was these 4 people being beaten and thrown into a pickup truck, and they're missing now. Which, as a parent, my kids are already out of college, so they're not doing spring break. But as a parent, man, I'd be telling my kids, you are not going to cross the border into Mexico. I come hell or high water. It's not the way it used to be when I was a kid. But yeah, but it's a long story. The main thing is spring break's coming up. So for those of you who get to take a little vacation time and enjoy it, Y'all doing something fun? You heading down south where it's a little bit warmer, or head a little further north where you get a little skiing in? I always enjoyed spring break. Just a chance to do your midterms and all in college, and then you get to go do something else for a little while. All right, Doom Turkey 83. What a login name, Doom. Was just thinking about the time Tom Green put cereal boxes on his hands and did a cereal box Osprey routine for the feeds. That was it. I remember that. I mean, that was right before I went in the house. And I very much was thinking, man, that Tom Green was so funny. How cool would it be to actually be in the house with that guy? He was one of my favorites before he went in Big Brother, but he was one of my favorites while he was in the show as well. On finale night, where we're all up in the stage casting our vote to win the money and all, and win the championship or the title of Big Brother and all, I looked over and Tom Green was in the audience watching the show, which I thought was so cool. Like, Tom Green is watching me up on stage. I was very impressed. But as soon as the show was over, we had to talk to everyone, and there were a bunch of big wigs from CBS I was talking to and all that. And I wanted to go down and say hello to Tom Green and shake his hand and just introduce myself. But then before I could do that, they said, now you got to go over here because we got backyard interviews. We got to get you out of here. And next thing you know, he's gone. I can't find him. So I missed my chance to go say hi to Tom Green and tell him what just an incredible, funny comedian he is. He's a pretty nice guy, too. He travels around in a van with his dog and does music. If you got him on Instagram or Twitter, I think it's Instagram, follow him. He's a unique individual. But I've had a chance to talk to him just once or twice, a quick little, comment on Instagram, and he's responded back and said hi and all that. But yeah, Tom Green was great in Big Brother. I loved watching him in there. He was pretty funny. But yeah, I definitely remember that Osprey routine. He took the cereal boxes and made the Osprey. I took the cereal boxes and turned them into a space helmet with aluminum foil, which I was pretty impressed that I was able to do it inside the house. We didn't have any tape in. I don't know if y'all know this. I wanted to make space helmets, which was fine. And I decided to use cereal boxes, which was fine. We weren't allowed any scissors, so I had to use a knife and very carefully work my way around to cut out the stuff. We also didn't have any tape in the house whatsoever. So I had no way to put it back together once I'd cut everything out. So y'all know what I used? I went into the storage room and I got a box of Band-Aids. And I took those Band-Aids and I cut the little pieces off the ends of each of them and used kind of 30 or 40 of those little pieces of tape from a Band-Aid. And that's how I taped the whole box together and taped the aluminum foil on so it would all stick and stay in place and all of that. And it worked. You got to be a little ingenuity while you're in that house, because it's not like I was going to go into the diary room and say, hey, can you send me some tape? I would have laughed, said, yeah, you figure it out. But I used Band-Aids and it worked okay, and made me a space helmet out of it. So yeah, Tom Green had the Osprey wings. I had a space helmet. I like what I did as well. All right, 7:57. Oh, so great. Amanda Lowe saying, maybe they'll ask you to host a competition on this season's Big Brother. I would so love to go back in there. Just say hello to the people. Just a chance to be in that house again. The last time I was in the house, it was stressful because I was getting booted. I knew my time was over. It's like, oh God, it's hard. I came so close, didn't quite make it. So there were a lot of emotions going on, not just about the house, but about the game and people and all of that. It would be fun to go back in there and know that there's nothing on the line. You're just hosting a competition. Win or lose, it's not going to affect you. To get to go back in and do something like that, yeah, I'd love to do it. Put me back in the house to play. I'd love to do that. But if I can't do that, then yeah, getting to go in and just see the house. Be kind of cool. My home away from home. Of course, if I go back in the house, it's gonna be a different theme. I'm gonna look around and say, this isn't my house. This is just a sad replica of where I was. Well, where's the boat room? Where's the doors? Well, what's this bidet in here? That's not what I had while I was in the house. Yeah, it'd still be cool to go back. So yeah, there you go. Let's see what else. 7:58. Moss saying, Cliff, did you hear about the Pete Davidson crash? I heard about it. I don't think he was injured, but I know he crashed into a house. Heard they don't think any drugs or alcohol involved, so that's all good. I'm glad everyone's okay. Gotta be careful. Can't be driving down those neighborhood streets going in fast. And I don't know if he's going fast, but you crash into the side of a house. Not like you're going 20 miles an hour, right? Yeah, I'm glad he's okay. All right, guys. With that, I guess I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I really wasn't sure what I was going to talk about tonight, so we went off on a few tangents. But appreciate y'all being out here to go down these crazy roads, hear some of these stories with me. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. As I said at the very beginning, if you haven't already done so, please go out there and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. You can hit the thumbs up button as well. I certainly appreciate that. And you can turn on notifications. But guys, y'all have a fantastic week. Hopefully you're somewhere where it's starting to warm up a little bit, like down here in Texas or San Antonio or Houston or whatever. But if you're still up where it's cold, well, get in front of a fire, enjoy another week or so before it starts warming up and all that. For those of you who've got spring break this week or coming up, get ready. Have some fun. Guys, I'll shut it down with that. I'll finish it up with a big old SKD 143. I do love my wife. I do love my kids. I love all of y'all out here. I love that we get to spend a little time talking to each other. Before next Monday, if y'all got any special topics you want to talk about, send me a DM. I am always open to new ideas and new things. That doesn't matter how off the wall it is. I probably will talk about it. If it's completely crazy, we may talk about it a little short. No, the crazy stuff's always fun too. So, guys, y'all have a great Monday. Have a great rest of the week. I will be back again next Monday for episode, I guess that would be episode 119. By next Monday, we'll know about Big Brother Canada. We'll have another episode of Survivor. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Guys, y'all have a great one. I will see you next Monday. Until then, cheers, my friends. Bye.